being here. Obviously, we're happy to always get a win and to do it in pretty convincing fashion and to put 100 points on the board is always a good feeling. We knew that this game was going to be a very interesting game because of the way that Niagara plays. And they haven't had a lot of success this year because their schedule is very difficult in the early part of their year. But I think they're well coached, and I think they're going to stick to their system and have success when they get to their league. And that was shown last year when they made it to the conference finals. But they're a team that forces you to play very helter-skelter and to rush things. And we knew we were going to turn them over, and they were going to turn us over. And 27 turnovers is a little much for my liking. I wanted to be around 20 and to force 30. So we had 27 and we forced 38. And so we'll live with it. We'll take the win. We had more than 40 deflections. We had more than 25 steals, and all but one player scored for us, and everyone played at least 9 minutes. Only one player played 9 minutes. Everyone played double-digit minutes after that. So a nice win. We took care of what we needed to do, and we'll celebrate till midnight.
Dan, what would Doug Moe have said about tonight's performance?
Doug Moe would have been disappointed that we only put up 100 and we played too good a defense. Because Doug Moe is the old coach of the Denver Nuggets in the mid to late 80s that really became known for the passing game and believed that it was the wave of the future. And Doug Moe has some really interesting thoughts actually on basketball in general. If you're a basketball nerd, it's very interesting to read up on him and his thoughts. This is the way we want to play. And I was asked by television out there, what adjustments will you make for your next game? 0. This is who we are, and we're coming at you, and we're going to press you for 40 minutes, make or miss.
We've talked so much about Journey's growth, but when you go 10 of 12 shooting and you just have so much confidence that that next catch is going to turn into 2 or 3 points, just how exciting is that, and how addictive do you hope that becomes across the court?
Journey has been finishing at the rim at a very high level, at full speed with contorting her body. Those are really fantastic finishes in a lot of cases. And, would I like to get her career high? Yes, but we weren't going to put her back in for something like that. We actually took the press off tonight, and I believe in sportsmanship, and I certainly don't want to embarrass anyone because I think Niagara played really hard to the final second, and that's a credit to them. But Journey obviously had a very, very good night, not only scoring the ball, but she also had 5 assists and 3 steals, and just really happy with her performance in 23 minutes.
And Meg doing Meg things, but the 7 steals is what really stands out, one off of her personal best. You talked again about the 25 steals, which also I think it's a program record until I get my head shaken at. But just what does it make just having that be contagious and having the leader just be so disruptive like that?
Meg only took 9 shots. She was 5 for 9, 2 for 4 from the 3, 5 rebounds, 15 points, 6 assists, 7 steals. It's a Meg night. In a situation where it was a very chaotic environment, she's your rock of keeping things under control, and she did that for us early, especially in the second quarter when they made their run and we expected them to make a run. She kept us where we needed to be because she's our rock.
Mac, of course, the double digits is was what stands out on the stat sheet, but what really stood out was her defensive play setting up her offense. Just having her be 2 ways and showcase that tonight means what for her and what for you?
I think you said it. She's a 2-way player. She's not given credit for the athleticism and quickness that she has. She's our second fastest player on the team in a full court sprint. And she's got quick hands and she's aggressive. And tonight, she was able to get those open looks, and she's a very good 3-point shooter. We knew the moment that we saw her at the basketball event 2 years ago that was a player that we wanted. And the future is really bright with our whole entire freshman class, but especially with Mac and Nadia with what they're producing right now. But we feel really good about all our freshmen.
the fourth quarter, it was a chance for you to obviously rest some legs, but just as, if not more importantly, to get extended looks on players. You saw Faith get her first points. You saw Fatu get her first points tonight. Just how important is that, not just from a confidence and continuity standpoint, but just showing just how strong and together you are?
You're not happy when you go the last 2.5 minutes without a bucket and you don't score. But I don't think it was from a lack of trying or completely being undisciplined. We did not expect Niagara to say, okay, we're going to just sit back in a zone. And they ran a zone for about the last 2 minutes. And we've not practiced against zone very much all year long, especially with our younger crew. That's I can't judge them for that. I can only judge them for how hard they play. And, Kelly McConnell's rebound in traffic where she elevated and got that one rebound defensively was fantastic. And I thought Faith did a really nice job playing defense on the ball. Faith has got unlimited upside, and obviously we feel really good about where Fatu will be. Fatu hasn't practiced more than 8 times in a year. There's a lot more to Fatu coming. And we think the world of what her future is going to be. But it was good to get some people minutes and see what they can do and let them be able to play through some mistakes. And so we were able to do that tonight.
The one biggest hiccup was probably the earliest mid-stage of the second quarter. Shots just weren't falling, especially from downtown. Just how do you make sure that with the ebbs and flows that you guys have, that you just stay the course, stay the ship, or what was the saying last year about the ships, burn the ships?
Burn the ships.
Just what was it like making sure that was a secure?
I think the biggest thing is that we knew and had talked to them about they're going to make a run at some point. And that's when they made their run, and that's going to happen. And the biggest thing is in the timeouts was talking about they want to play in the air. So we're trying to put the ball over our head and make passes over our head instead of keeping the ball in triple threat and low woman wins. Fake high, go low. Shot fake, drive it really hard with your shoulder coming off the defender's hip, and play with a low woman type of advantage because they want to play up in the air. And we played into that advantage for them, disadvantage for us. And that went on for about 3 minutes, and then we were able to correct it in maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And then we were able to correct it, and we were able to come away with a nice victory.
You mentioned at Princeton that obviously Fatu was going to get healthy and you were going to play 13, and eventually Gabby is going to get healthy and you're going to get to 14. But just you mentioned the ebbs and flows, being confident in playing 13. Just how does tonight showcase that you can play those 13 confidently throughout the course of the season?
I am 100% confident that I can play all 13 players. 100%. But it is incredibly difficult as a coach to do that, because you don't want to disrupt rhythm, and when rhythm is not present on the floor, what is your substitution pattern? And so what we do is Coach Frank, I have an offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Now I have a substitution coordinator, because Coach Frank is very good. We sit down and we discuss about where we want our substitutions to be, and we map that out for the first and the second quarter. And then we have some ideas of lineups that work that we get from different analytical services. And we play off of that, but it is a real challenge because it's a game of chess to find the right lineups of who's having success that night. And we're gonna go back and look at the analytics of it to see what our best lineups are overall, against zone, against a pressing team, et cetera, as we move forward through the year.
As a follow, without giving too much away, obviously, how has that been, finding that process and finding that home? Understanding you have a lot of pride on that team, on that sideline, and you want to make it work, but you have to do it within the confines of the 40 minutes.
Well, I think that if you don't have success in your rotation, you know that you're going to probably get another shot at it. And we talk about relentless joy, and the kids really pull for one another and have a joy for one another's success. And so I think anytime they come to the bench, if they've not had a good rotation, there's teammates there to pick them up. And then we talk about positive affirmations. Today, we really discussed this the last 2 days, that they're going to do something that is going to make us make a mistake. But we can't have one mistake become 2 because we get down or we don't sprint back. So we kept talking about we don't want to have 1 become 2. And you have to have positive affirmation and joy from the bench and support from the bench. And that's what we did. And I felt like when we did have a negative, when that player would come out, they were surrounded by kids that were really trying to bring them back up along with their coaches. And I think that shows because pretty much everybody, no, not pretty much, everyone positively contributed to tonight's win.
As a piggybacking follow to that question, you saw in the fourth quarter just how invested that bench was. Players were on their knees, players were locking arms, they were smiling, giggling, the joy. Just what's it like seeing that, even though of course you're focused on the game, but just what's it like seeing that and understanding just how special this is?
I'll be honest, I didn't see much of it tonight because I was kind of ingrained and engrossed with the freshmen that we had on the floor. And I was trying to support them and coach them as much as you can with the way that we're playing. And it's little reminders. Fat 2 one time took a wild swing at a block and then ran to half court and decelerated towards half court. And we had to talk about that, how that's incorrect. Little things where they can correct during the game to hopefully give us another chance to score more. But also, that'll happen in film later on on Monday, where we'll discuss those kind of things. But to see the bench, I know that it was a very good bench, and it has been because of the relentless joy that our program has and what this team has. With that being said, I thought our fan base was fantastic tonight. It's November, and sometimes you don't have great crowds in November, and sometimes they sit on their hands, and that is not the case. We have something special going on here, and we're really excited about them. I think our pep band and our cheerleaders also have done a great job of supporting us, and I really appreciate our pep band and our cheerleaders. We have a gentleman who has done so much for our basketball program for decades, and Mr. Unico has had a little fall, and we're supporting him. And I just want to say that to Mr. Unico that everyone here at Duquesne, and especially our women's basketball, is thinking about him and have positive vibes and prayers sent to him. Thank you for supporting women's basketball.